Hi, Summer Work Ready. I'm Renee Messer, Program Manager here at Family and Children's Services. I put together a short presentation for you about the Americorps program. I was an Americorps member when I was younger, and I definitely consider it to be one of the best experiences I have had in my life. It provided me with valuable work experience that I have benefited from throughout my adult life and my career. I wanted to share a little about the program with you so you are aware of another great option available to you that provides job readiness skills as well as a financial benefit to further your education in higher learning. Let me get started with a short video that sums up Americorps. I'm going to follow up that video with a few additional slides to explain Americorps a little bit more in depth.
So you have questions about Americorps? Well, you've come to the right place, because we're here to help. First off, let's clear up one thing right away. You might be wondering how to say or spell Americorps. Sometimes people pronounce the P, but don't make that same mistake. Americorps is alive and well, just spelled with a silent P. So think of Apple Core or Core of the Earth. Now that we have that clear, what exactly is Americorps anyways? Americorps is simply Americans of all ages and backgrounds dedicating their time and skills to get things done. There we go. So how does Americorps get things done? More than 80,000 Americans across the country join Americorps each year, and all of them are tackling different problems in different ways. For example, Americorps members help families attain affordable homes. They mentor students so that they stay in school. Perhaps there is a tornado, a flood, a forest fire, or a hurricane. Americorps members also help communities recover from disasters. There's so many more things that Americorps members do, but if we said it all, we'd be here all day. Why do we call them members, you ask? Americorps members spend anywhere from 3 months to a year dedicating their time and skills to serve. They can volunteer with nonprofits, schools, public agencies, and community and faith-based organizations. And in case you were wondering, there are a few perks Americorps members get, including money to pay for college, student loan deferment, training, living allowance, health benefits, and job opportunities with leading employers. Not too bad, right? All right. What's the purpose of Americorps? Like the military or the Peace Corps, Americorps is a way to serve your country. Americorps members make Americans safer, stronger, and healthier, and they strengthen our communities. But above all, Americorps members get things done. That's it. That's what Americorps is. Learn more about Americorps at americorps.gov.
Okay, so let's recap a little bit. So the goal of Americorps is to provide young people an opportunity to serve their country by helping others and meeting critical needs in the community. Americorps is a network of local, state, and national service programs that connects young people to intensive service to meet community needs. So members commit to full-time or part-time positions offered by a network of nonprofit, community organization, and public agencies. Or they commit to serve in Americorps' National Civilian Community Corps, which is the NCCC. That's the program that I did, and I will talk a little bit more about. Members fulfill assignments in the fields of, they listed some of these in the video, but she was fast, education, public safety, healthcare, environmental protection, disaster relief, and poverty. Most of the assignments could probably be fit within one of those 5 to 6 areas. Okay. So specifically, I'm going to talk a little bit more about the Americorps National Civilian Community Corps. Like I said earlier, that's the program that I did, and it's probably one of Americorps' biggest programs for young people. So it's a full-time residential team-based program for men and women ages 18 to 24. Members serve at one of the 4 regional campuses located throughout the United States. So the regional campuses where you would be housed, there's one in Mississippi, there's one in, Iowa? Denver, Colorado, and Sacramento, California. Boy, the IA, I think that's Iowa. Each campus focuses efforts on states within its region, but may travel to other areas in response to national crisis. So the NCCC program, you're assigned to a regional campus as your home base. Okay, you're provided transportation to this location. Once you're there as a large group of young people. I would say, maybe hundreds of kids, but you're going to be paired off and be part of a team of about 8 to 10 core members. As a team, you guys will travel to states in the regional area to complete service projects. Each team completes a minimum of 4 projects. The number depends on how long each project takes. So when you're assigned to a project, it all depends on how long it takes to complete it. They can be anywhere, from my own personal experience, anywhere from 2 to like 4 months at a time. Once your service year is over, you're provided transportation back home. So in my example, South Carolina is not a regional site anymore. It looks like for the southern one, it's been moved to Mississippi, but I was based, out of Charleston, South Carolina. And the project areas that I did and the places that I went are all within that same southern region. So I worked at an after-school care center in a housing project community in Florida. I worked at a children's hospital in Arkansas. I helped organize the Special Olympics in North Carolina. We did tutoring at a school in South Carolina. We did environmental projects, like what they call trailblazing, which is creating trail systems within some of the state and local parks. Actually did that in Georgia and in South Carolina. So those were some of the places that I went, even though my home base was out of Charleston, South Carolina. Next, we're going to talk about what are the benefits of being in Americorps. So while you're serving in Americorps, one of the main benefits includes communal housing, meals, and limited health benefits. Okay, so you guys are probably like, well, where do we sleep? Where do we stay? So you're stationed typically in dormitory style housing while you're on your home base. And when you travel to other locations, housing is in some capacity is always provided for you and you never have to pay for it. So for example, when I was stationed at my home base in South Carolina, we actually worked off of what was a closed down U.S. military base. So where I stayed looked exactly like a college dormitory. When I traveled to the different locations, when we were in Arkansas, we actually also stayed in old military barracks. But when I was in Georgia, for example, when we were working in one of the parks, so I keep saying it was a national park, but it was just a state park. They had cabins, like when you might go camping with your family, and families can rent out the cabins. That's where we stayed. So it's a variety of different housing, but it's always provided for you and at no cost to you. You're also provided meals, either in a dining hall facility or through a team stipend for you guys to purchase and cook food. So when I was in the cabin in Georgia, our team used, we have a team leader, and we, used our money. We would go shopping as a team and pick different things that we would like and want to cook and make, and we just cooked in the cabin. When I was stationed in South Carolina, like I said, it was old military style barracks. So like there was a dining hall, and the food was cooked and provided for us. All your program travel expenses are included. I kind of talked about that earlier, but you will be flown to and from your base location. And then once you're there, Americorps provides you with the means to travel to all the different program locations. And then of course, back home again. While you're on your projects, there's always transportation provided to explore, experience, and learn about the places that you'll travel to. You usually go as a team, but not always. You can kind of venture out on your own. Your team travels in a van. So once you're in your location, so I'll just use Georgia again for an example. There was several of us on our team that we were stationed near Atlanta, but we wanted to go see Athens, Georgia. So, as long as you take a consensus with the team, everybody who wants to go gets to go. Anyone who doesn't want to go is never required. And then we used the team van and we took our own trip out to explore other parts of Georgia. You're off the clock at a certain time. You're allowed to do other things. When you're not on your home base, you are kind of stuck with having to share that team van. Although, we didn't have Uber when I was doing Americorps, but now there's probably other ways for kids to venture out when they're off the clock and, maybe go eat dinner and explore a little bit, because as you'll see, the next one says a modest living allowance. So you are not paid a full-on paycheck like you normally would be at a regular job, because they provide you with everything that you would need to live during this 11-month period of service. They just provide you with a modest living allowance. So it covers some things. It would definitely be enough money for you to save it if you needed to, but then buy personal items, hygiene. Obviously you still have to do your laundry, so you might need laundry detergent. It allows you to put some money aside to maybe go out to dinner or go to a museum and experience the area that you're in. I'm not even going to venture a guess as to what it is, because the last time I was in Americorps was like 25 years ago. And to be honest, I don't even know what it was then. I can't remember. It definitely was enough to get me through the year having an amazing time. What's the next one? Forbearance for federal loans. This doesn't really apply to you guys right now because none of you are, I forgot. I'm sorry, I skipped one. So the valuable training in leadership and skills. So to be honest with you guys, you cannot even put a value on what serving others in this capacity is going to teach you and the experiences it will provide you. Like those people who serve our country in the military or serve in the Peace Corps, it's hard to find the words to express the impact service has on your life. But what I can say is that it will definitely change your life forever. There's no other experience that I've ever had in life since that even comes close to matching what I experienced when I did this year with Americorps. So this one, the forbearance of federally backed student loans, doesn't apply to you guys yet, because all of you here in Summer Work Ready have yet to move on to college. But you can do Americorps coming right out of high school. You also could do it coming out of your graduate years, or like even community college. So for kids who may be postponing like Americorps and doing it a little bit later in their life, and they might have had some student loans accrue, you get to defer the interest that you have to pay on those loans during your year of service. So basically, it's the program's way of saying, if you're going to do our country an amazing favor by serving, we're going to do you the favor of not being responsible for paying your interest during that year. Another opportunity, which this is new, they didn't have this when I was in Americorps, but it sounds like they must offer some undergraduate college credits in something called the Intro to Service Learning and Diversity in Service. So there must, and if you're a team leader, there's even an additional course on supervisory skills, which would be amazing. So it looks like they've incorporated into their program some college level credits that you can get while also serving. So after you're done serving, okay, so other than the invaluable experience Americorps is going to provide, the invaluable experiences Americorps provides, the second biggest thing is that it offers money for college. So as long as you complete your year of service, they will pay to the Institute of Higher Learning of your choice $6,000 and change, $6,000 and change to that institution. If you sign up to do a second year of service, which you can, in the NCCC program, you can do up to 2 years of service, they will then give you an additional $6,000 and change in money to be used towards your higher education. You don't receive those checks in hand. Those checks are of once you applied, or I should say enrolled in a university. And it can also be a community college, just an institution of higher learning. The financial aid department works with you to have Americorps send that money over, and then your tuition is less the amount of money that the Americorps check is for. So it's really, you guys, it's not a bad deal. It looks amazing on a college application to have done Americorps. And when you're done, they're going to give you money. So it truly is a win-win. Okay, the next one is the competitive job edge. So what I have to say about this one is, I imagine, that I wasn't too different from you guys when I was your age. I worked, but I wouldn't really say that they were the best and greatest jobs, right? I was a camp counselor. I worked at a coffee shop, kind of so on and so forth. However, when you do Americorps and then you move on and you go to college and then you finish college, you start looking for jobs, you're going to have a whole year of amazing work experience and valuable skills to put down on a resume. You have that edge above everybody else who hasn't had such an experience. Most young people, when you come out of college and you start looking for a job, your resume doesn't have a ton on it, right? Because you haven't done a ton of things. And the things that you've done may not be, amazing, career type of things. There are all those part-time jobs that everybody's had. But when you do Americorps, there's a lot more for you to put on a resume. And, I don't know if a lot of you had heard of Americorps prior to today's presentation, but companies and organizations, around the country, they know what Americorps is, and they truly do value it, and they value the members that have spent their time giving a year of service. Let's see if I can move this forward here. There we go. Okay, so that kind of more or less wraps up my presentation, but I was going to go through. So what do you have to, what do you need to be eligible? So to serve in the Corps, you have to be 18 to 26 years old. Now, if you're already 18 or 19 and you wanted to go in as a team leaders, there's no age, you can go in as a team leader up to any age, but to serve as a Corps member, the cap is 26 years old. You can be 17 when you apply, but by the time the course starts, you have to be 18 before arriving on campus. And then I did not talk about it, but if you go on the website, you're going to see that there are other programs in Americorps besides the NCCC, VISTA, and then the FEMA Corps. And FEMA is very specific to networking with national disasters. For that one, you have to be 18 as well. You have to be a U.S. citizen. You must pass an initial drug screening test upon arrival, and a positive drug testing screen, including marijuana, can cause for dismissal from the program. And they can randomly drug test throughout the year. I definitely knew a few kids who ended up having to go home. So that's really something to think about, because I know that you've talked about it in Summer Work Ready. And, there's lots of talk, because there's all these mixed laws about marijuana, but this is a government program, and marijuana is still federally illegal, and so that is something that they will test for, and it cannot be in your system. Team leaders must have a valid driver's license because they will be expected to drive that team vehicle. Other people can take a test when they're there, and other kids on your team can choose to be a driver of the vehicle, but the team leader has to be one. And you must be able to commit for that 10 to 12 month time for service. So for the NCCC program, it's kind of like a school year. So I remember going down to South Carolina right at the very end of August, beginning of September, and we stayed through June, I believe. All right. So I have one final little video to show you. Hoping that I covered everything for you guys. I wish I could have been there with you, but I'm on vacation. So here's one more video that they put together. The other one I found on YouTube, and I don't know who put it together, but it was very good. This one comes right off of the Americorps website, so it kind of just really gives you a little glimpse as to what it looks like to be an Americorps member.
You're a home for a family who's been out in the cold. You're a bottle of clean water in the hands of a thirsty child. You're a sandbag pushing back the flood. You're a traveler, a team member, a builder, a giver. You're a forklift driving, chainsaw wielding hand that reaches out. You're a line in the woods that fires can't cross. You're a garden that feeds the community. You're not help is on the way. Your help is here. Join Americorps and Triple C. Be the greater good.
Okay, you guys, so you can see a couple of things down the bottom now. I'm hoping that maybe Miss Melissa will be able to, because I'll send her this presentation, sort of click on those things and provide the links in the chat for you guys. Because it looks like there's like a webinar. That's what the first one is. So it's NCCC A to Z, and it comes up on August the 10th. I'm not sure when she's going to show this to you all, but if it is really something you're interested in, I would always check back, because my guess is that they are always putting webinars up there. That's just the most recent one. So that's probably a good thing to tune into. And then there's their website down below. Now, like I said, you can see on the very end of that, it says Americorps and then it says NCCC. That's very specific for the National Civilian Community Corps. But like I said, there are a couple other programs, but if you just Google Americorps, .gov, you can get to the NCCC program as well as seeing information about the other programs that Americorps offers. I hope that you guys found this presentation a little, just helpful, giving you something else to think about. Maybe some of you knew about Americorps, maybe some of you didn't. Like I said, I think it's a great opportunity for young people. I wish more schools promoted it, because I think it does provide you all with such an amazing experience that would be hard to get any other way. I mean, most of us can't just travel around the country doing awesome things for under-resourced communities. We need a catalyst. We need a program like Americorps to help us do that. And then on top of it, it provides you with money to put towards your higher education, which is really something that everyone can benefit from. So, think about it. If you have any questions, I know I'm not here for you, but Miss Melissa can put my email address in the chat as well. You guys can reach out to me. If there seemed that there was like tons of questions or tons of interest, I'm more than willing to come back and talk to you guys in person. So have a great rest of summer work ready, and I will see you guys later.
So I will stop sharing. We couldn't have Ms. Renee here today, but we do have Ms. Alex here today, and she was also a part of Americorps, so she'll be able to hopefully answer some of the questions that you might have, as well as share her own story. So Alex, you can take it away.
All right, good morning, everybody. How's everyone feeling? You can either put in a chat or unmute your mic. Good, thank you, Caitlin. Good. That's good. So I'm really glad to be here, and I do appreciate Miss Melissa and Miss Renee thinking about me. I was an Americorps member, so there's different divisions of Americorps. I was a part of City Year. Some of you might have seen City Year in Philly. They wear the red jackets, khaki pants, black or khaki pants with Timberland boots. I don't know if they still wear that now, but you might have seen it like on a sub or just walking downtown or somewhere, but, or they might've been in some of your schools. So I was a part of City Year. I was a Corps member 2013 and 2014. And I applied actually at the age of 23, 24. And that was most of my peers, most of the Corps members were actually younger than me. I was one of the oldest in my Corps, but that didn't dismay me from applying. So this is how it started, right? I went to undergrad school at Kutztown, graduated with a degree in psychology, and then I knew I wanted to be in social work or counseling, but I knew I needed my master's right away. So I went straight from Kutztown and went to Westchester. Went to Westchester for 2 years full-time, and I received my master's of social work degree. And then I actually saw City Year at a career fair in undergrad and grad school. And long story short, I ended up applying. I saw that you could pick any city that you would like to serve in. So my top 3 cities were DC, New York, and Miami. I've been to DC before, I've been to New York, and I was like, you know what? I've never been to Miami at the age of 23. And I figure it's lovely weather, the beach, fun environment, why not? So I applied, had my interview over the phone, and I made it in. It definitely was a new experience because that was my first time going that far away from home by myself. I literally packed my car. I took something called the auto train, and that's where you pack your car up and your car goes on an actual train and you grab a seat. So there are two different actual like train carts you're in. But long story short, I packed my car up, I hit the road, and I drove down to Miami. Most of the trip was on a train, but I drove down there. And as the video mentioned and Renee mentioned, I was able to find roommates through, they had a Facebook group. So a lot of it, I wasn't by myself. They helped us connect with other Corps members. So I had two roommates. We didn't live in a dorm. We actually were able to find an apartment anywhere in the city. So it was a lot of research, right? It took a lot of, problem solving skills because it's a new city. I did find my apartment before I went to Miami. So, but it can be nerve wracking, right? I don't have my parents with me. I don't have any family members. I don't know anyone that's going to this new city, but I stepped up to the challenge. And when I will honestly say, moving to a different city will really separate yourself from a lot of people, because it teaches problem solving skills. It teaches how do you build relationships? How do you navigate a unfamiliar realm, an unfamiliar city, and to be successful when you come out of it, right? So I served a year in Miami. I served at a school called Northwestern Senior High School. That's actually where, I don't know if you guys know the artists Trick Daddy and Trina. They're famous rappers. They actually graduated from there. And the city or the area that it's in Miami is called Liberty City. They are known to be, a little bit kind of like Philly, right? Known for like the violence and maybe the poverty. But the school was considered under-resourced. So as the video mentioned, I served there. It was about 9 of us, 10 of us, including myself, on a team, and I had 2 leaders. And they were very supportive. The year looked like this. We all were either in an algebra, a math class, working with freshmen, reading and comprehension, maybe like English as a second language. So they broke us up into those subjects. So throughout the day, we were kind of like a teacher's assistant in the classroom, and it gave you that opportunity to speak up, right? Public speaking skills. How do I help students that may be struggling, right? They were considered to be more academically in like a lower class. I know how that feels because that was me in high school. So I took this experience very serious. I know what it feels like to not understand something the first time. I knew how it felt to be like, man, I'm in a low class. Like, am I stupid? Am I slow? Right. And I'm just keeping it real with you guys. But it meant a lot to be able to give back to students that look like me, that maybe experience some of the similar things I experienced in a school setting. And I was able to help them, right? I was able to break things down so they could understand and do it in a loving, nurturing, but a tough love way. So I was in a math class. The math class was called the Algebra Project. I'm not going to go too deep into that, but Google Algebra Project if you get a chance. It's just another style of teaching algebra in this new day and age. So I taught that. I was in essence like teaching small groups. It taught me communication skills. It taught me how do I break a concept down so that you understand it? Where if I have a group of 5 people in my group, 5 of you learn differently. Someone might be visual. Someone might be more verbal or auditory. Someone might, need to see it on paper. someone may need a different type of example. And I learned how to effectively communicate that to different types of people. So that was really a strong skill set that I learned. So I taught algebra. We also had like a lunch bunch. We would eat our lunch with the students, and we talked about different topics, right? We talked about relationships. We talked about problem solving, conflict resolution, community building. A lot of things we did on the weekends was community service. So we painted the school, not the whole school, but, we fixed up the lobby. So when the students returned in the fall, it brightens their spirit to return to a school that looks good. We actually did some building, right? Maybe builded picnic tables. So this experience of Americorps, the City Year Division, gave you a chance to interact with young people. It gave you a chance to be actually hands-on building something or fixing something up, beautifying a building. One of the biggest community service days we had was MLK Day. And that's when everybody in the Corps, it might have been about 200 of us, we all broke up into different sections of the city, and we had a specific job at a school or somewhere in the community to beautify it or fix it up or clean up. Things like that. So there was a mixture of the educational component, actually community service, giving back. And then you got to really have fun with the kids, right? We went to the talent shows. We went to the football games. We went to the basketball games because we were a part of that school. Everyone knew us at City Year. We had our red jackets. So, we'll get on the PA system and do like a word of the week. And then you come into class and the kids are like, oh, Miss Alex, I heard you in the PA system. And it's just, you never know the impact that you leave. And I say that like, if you don't remember anything that I say, remember this. You never know how you can impact at least one person. And being a part of City Year, there's students to this day that I'm friends with on Facebook, and they reach out to me. And there's one particular student, he literally texts me every time he reaches an accomplishment. And when he graduated, I actually went back to their graduation. So they were freshmen in 2013. All of us, majority of my team actually went back to Miami when they graduated high school and was at their graduation. You never know your impact. And this one student, he texts me when he graduated from college. He texts me when he got his first job, on my birthday, different things. And it's like, you just never know that impact that you leave. And I'm a firm believer, what you give out is what you receive. And I know the type of work that we put in that year, that service year. So that's a little bit about my experience. It was fun. It was fun, but all the while I learned a lot of leadership skills. Some of the younger people might have thought like, well, what we're doing is stupid, or why are we doing this? Always questioning the intent behind our service. And by the end of our year, there were people that grew so much. And they're like, I learned how to be a leader. I knew how, to bring people together. And these skills, you may not get honestly while you're in college, right? You make your experience in college, right? No one can make you step up to be a leader in college, right? There's different activities that you can be a part of where you learn those skills. But City Year or Americorps really, like you had no choice but to step up. So you learned about how to give effective feedback and how to receive feedback, right? Because Melina, if I were to give you feedback on something that you did or didn't do, can you receive that in a healthy way, or do you take it personal? Or does it shut you down and now you're like, you know what, I don't want to do anything else, right? Alicia, same thing. If you were to give me feedback, how do I receive that? And we did a lot of feedback sessions. It really created some tough skin, but also a support team. And each one of my coworkers that I work with at my school, I'm still friends with today. Some of them are in Miami. One is from North Carolina. Another one's from California. Another one is from Maine. Right. So, and I was from Philly. So we all came together. We learned so much about where everyone was from. we'll talk about slang. They're like, oh, Miss Alex, you know Meek Mill? I'm like, I don't know him. But they just looked at it as like, oh my gosh, you're from Philly. Like, if I ever come, can you get me a cheesesteak? And you're just building that rapport. And it was just, it's really exciting to learn about where people are from. I learned a lot about Floridians. And, it was like vacation, right? We go to the beach. We went out, and I will honestly say this. I know the video talked about our stipend that we receive, right? So we receive the stipend every 2 weeks, but then you also get the grant at the end of your service year. I will honestly say that year in Miami was probably the most exciting years of my life. And I was paid less. I'll repeat that. I was paid the least in my life, right, as an adult. I was paid the least, but my experience was so much fun that if I look at even my adulthood now, I probably didn't have as much fun as I did in Miami. And when I was in Miami, I didn't wild out, right? I wasn't crazy, but we really enjoyed our time there. The weather, the people, the different activities. It's very different from Philly. And I really encourage you guys to, if you can experience life outside of Philly, do it. Even if it's just for a couple months. I served a year. I actually tried to stay there after I graduated, but circumstances brought me back to Philly. But if you can experience another city or another country, they have America Overseas too. City Year is in just about every major city in the United States. Go for it, right? And this is the time to try new things as a 18 to 24 or 25-year-old. If it doesn't work, you always know you can come back home, right? Philly isn't going anywhere, right? So you always try new things, challenge yourself, because I know adults now that's my age, and they missed out on a lot in their early adulthood because they just wanted to get to the money. They wanted to get to the bag, right? Everybody wants the money, but then they look back and say like, man, I didn't really have much of experience, or man, like no one taught me this. Part of it too is, how do you put yourself out there to be taught? Because I can't sit here in the house all day and expect someone to teach me something. I have to go out there and get it. So Americorps definitely taught me that. And overall, I served a cause bigger than myself, right? And that was people, that was students in an under-resourced school. We were giving back every day. It was long days, I'm not gonna lie. We woke up at like 6 o'clock in the morning, and our day was over about like 3 or 4 o'clock. And we did some stuff on the weekend. So, but it was all worth it when I look back on it. So I will leave this time for questions. I know I said a lot, and I know a lot was said in the video, but please, I'll put my email in the chat, and Miss Melissa can give my email as well. But if you have any questions, please ask me. I guess we have a few minutes for that, for Q&A. So anyone would like to go first?
I can go. So one of my questions, I know you went over like a lot of how this impacted you and the benefits from all of this, but I was wondering if you could like give the main benefits of all of this, since you kind of like glazed through them a lot, if that makes sense.
Cool. Yeah, no problem, Caitlin. Thank you for the question. So the main benefits is you do get a small stipend. So remember, I did this back in 2013, so I don't know if that stipend has changed now. But when I was there, I was getting paid literally $400 something every 2 weeks. Now, once I found out that I was accepted into the program, I started saving money, right? And I just graduated from grad school. So I saved up money. I had some gift money. So I knew I wasn't getting paid that much. So I saved up. So when I got down there, I was able to, I was okay with money. It was crazy how it works, but I was okay with money. And then at the end of the service year, we got like a $5,500 grant that I paid towards my student loans. Now, if I didn't go to college yet, I could use that money to go to college. So either way, whether you were currently in college or graduated, or you haven't applied yet and you plan on going, you could use it for either way, either option. Another benefit is really just like being able to give back. Some people really enjoy giving back, and it teaches you a lot. It really humbles you. It teaches you selflessness. That's a huge benefit. Another benefit is a resume builder, right? A lot of people look at like, oh, you're part of Americorps. That means like you sacrifice a lot of your time and money to help other people. That says a lot about your character. No, that doesn't make me better than anyone else, but it speaks volumes when you see that on someone's resume. That you're able to kind of like, we use this term called flow like water, right? And that's being flexible and being in this field. I'm in social work, but being in the helping field, whatever that looks like, you have to flow like water. You know, you're not going to wake up every day and every situation is going to be the same. People change. When you work with people, you got to deal with people's issues, and you have to deal with their real life. And how do you do that in a successful way? So that's another benefit. Those are like the main benefits, but also like to be able to try new things. This is the age group that is trial and error, right? I don't think you want to be 40 years old trying to do Americorps. No, like as a core, as like the first core year. Now, if you're a leader, you moved up, that's different. But, and it's no shade, but that age range of 18 to 24 is like, that's when you're learning yourself. You're building relationships. You're figuring out, am I going to college or am I working? Am I being an entrepreneur? Am I going to the military? Right? Those are all options that age group thinks about. So that gives you a way to, do I like it? Do I not like it? Because if I serve a year and I realize after that year I hated it, at least I know what I don't like. And that's a step in the right direction. People are scared to try things and they say like, well, I don't know if I'm going to like it. Well, you won't know until you try. And that's really a benefit of Americorps too. So I hope that answered those are like the main benefits, but of course there's other maybe little things, and, you know, it gives you a chance to like venture out, you know, learn a different city or a different area. You're welcome, Caitlin. Anyone else? Going once, going twice. All in all, you know, we worked hard during the day and we had fun, you know, on the weekends. We were in Florida, right? There's a lot to do in Florida and Miami, especially. I know the Miami Heat was in the playoffs when I was there, so that was exciting. The year before they went to the championship, it would have been really fun to be there when they won the chip. But you work hard, you play hard, right? And I can honestly say where I'm at today has a lot to do with my core year and my experience there. And we all, you know, I visited one of my leaders in California with one of my coworkers that were like really, I don't use the term best friend, but she's like a best friend. So we're really tight. I mean, we went to weddings, people's baby showers, and our core was really tight. It's like, we're like a family. So a lot of, you want to build your support team, right? I didn't make it here on my own. You know, I had support, and till this day, we're still close. So I'm glad to say that I still have that support to this day. I know there's one more question out there. This is the time to ask. Let me ask this, is anyone interested in Americorps after this conversation? Thumbs up for yes, maybe, or no.
We're interested in finding out more about it, not necessarily joining, but just finding out more about it.
Okay.
Okay. I see a couple yeses. I see a thumb.
Good.
I see a sideways thumb. Possibly.
Good.
Okay. In the middle. Okay.
So
it's
yeah, I'm sorry.
I was going to say, it's just about options. It's just about options. You know, a lot of people hear about the military, people hear about Job Corps, people hear about certain things, but here's a program that many of you may never, I heard about it, but I didn't know a lot about it. So I wish I had known more about it, for not just myself, but for other people that I've talked to who maybe aren't clear what their next steps are going to be. they're maybe thinking about college, but not sure about that, step with debt and things like that. I know for a lot of people, that's a big factor. Do I want to incur that kind of debt going into school with loans and stuff? So I know for my kids, that's a big deal. Or not just being sure what you want to do. So you don't want to go to college just to go. You want to, figure out what you're going for. So this is something, another path to explore and see. If it doesn't fit you, it doesn't fit you, and that's cool. But I would say at least be open to exploring it.
And I also want to add, Miss Melissa really said something great, like it's options. And a lot of young people, when they don't know their options, they feel limited, they feel stuck, and they feel pressured. And knowing your options is really important, because if I can choose from 10 things, then I can maybe try 8 of those. Mm-hmm. But if I only know 2, then that's limiting my horizon, like where I could be in a couple years. Right. 2 things before I leave. One is when I was with City Year, they actually prepared you for life after City Year. It was called like a Lacey plan, right? Life after City Year. And they actually helped you build your resume. If you wanted to apply to college, they assisted with that. They assisted with cover letters. They assisted with, okay, what job are you looking for after here? Are you going to a different city? Are you staying? When I tell you, I connected with the president of Florida International University, one of the largest universities in the United States. And I connected with the president there. And that was because of City Year. So it's not just like you serve and then you leave. You serve, you learn, you have fun, you build relationships. They really teach a lot about networking, and then they prepare you for life after that. So it's a whole process they walk you through. And then the second thing I wanted to add, there were so many people that started City Year that didn't know what they wanted to do with their life, right? I'm sure you guys are thinking like, I don't know what I want to do at 18, right? That's a really hard question to really think about and to answer. But by the time they graduated from City Year, Americorps, they at least were one step closer to what they wanted to do, or knowing what they wanted to do. And then lastly, I did it backwards. I went to school, got my master's, and then I did Americorps, where the majority of Corps members, they were fresh out of high school or they were fresh out of undergrad. And a lot of people looked at me like, why are you doing Americorps? You have your master's. My own father looked at me like I was crazy. And there was initial fear of judgment, but then I realized like, I don't care what people think. The world tells us go to college, maybe get your master's, get a job and get a house and have a family, right? That's kind of like the societal view. But we know that doesn't always happen, which is okay because it's life. So I did it backwards, and that was okay. And I'm proud of myself that regardless of what people thought, I still did what I wanted to do. And I ended out a little bit more ahead than a lot of my peers, because I went to college and then I had that service year. So it doesn't have to be in a certain order, right? The age limit is 18 to 26. I had people on my team that was 18 and I was 24, and I'm looking at them like, I need y'all to mature, right? Maturity. But I was there to teach them that. And then they looked at me like, man, like she's 24, look at what she's doing. So they were able to learn from me. We were learning from each other. So look at a lot of things in life as an experience, a process. Everything, there's a process too. So like I said, my email I put in the chat. Please, please, please feel free to email me. I will see some of you. Well, I will see all of you next week when I teach about using your voice. And feel free, even after that session, if you have a question about this, you can always ask. It doesn't have to just be today. Okay.
Thank you so